Hi everybody, it's Michala Petersen, and shout out where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from. I'd love to know. Tonight's topic is self-care and self-care sabotage. And I don't know about you, but any time that I have a little moment to myself, it seems like something happens that needs my attention or something creeps in the way somehow. So we are going to first talk about 6 ways that you can practice good self-care. Then I'm going to give you some of my favorite verses to meditate on that I meditate on when I'm going through trials. And then the third thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you what I do for my daily self-care routine in the spiritual realm. So first of all, I just want to say how much I appreciate your support on the Striding Through Cancer page. It has been such a blessing for me to be able to share some knowledge, and I am really a person that is strong in my faith. I don't know how anyone can get through any trials without a relationship with Jesus, and so I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight. So I tell my kids all the time, and most of you know this about me if you know me, but I think that our sole purpose in life is to shine God's light. And that's not always easy because we are thrown into trials and, tested along the way, every step of the way. And the truth is, sometimes we shine God's light the best when we're at our worst. And so don't give up hope in that. You can still be a beacon of light. You can still be that lighthouse no matter what's going on. So first and foremost, I think that a positive attitude always wins. You've heard that old age added, however that's called, that 10% of life is what happens to you and 90% of life is how you deal with it. And positive thoughts and energy have been shown to change body chemistry. So another thing that I heard from a wise soul is to not devote any energy to anything that you don't want to see more of in the world. So don't worry about the things that you don't want to see more of in the world. Focus on what you do want to see more of in the world. And those positive thoughts are going to change everything. Number 2 is prayer and meditation. I do this in many different ways, and one of the things that a few years ago I was really insecure about was my prayer life. I felt like I fell asleep during my prayers a lot. I didn't know if I would, that's just kind of an element of insecurity. We're not exactly sure we're doing it right. And I read this book called Praying the Bible, and it has changed my whole prayer life. And so what that book is about is flipping to a psalm and praying through a psalm. So now I flip to a psalm and I read the first verse. I pray about everything that I can think of in that first verse. When I can't think of anything to pray about, then I go on to the second verse and so on. And it has completely transformed my prayer life. So give that a shot. You can do daily devotions. You can have a prayer journal, a gratitude journal. I love those because we're focusing on the positive things in life that are happening to us, and they're everywhere. I mean, you can see God's beauty everywhere. And I like trying to focus on the good in every situation, which is hard from time to time. It's hard. It's not easy for sure. But you can focus on those Gideon moments where you pray for God to answer your prayer, and He does. And you can write those down. You can journal it out. Fill your mind with good things. I think that standing on the promises of God is the best way to do this. My kids and I have Seeds for Worship. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can download Amazon Music and you can listen to those songs for free. All of those albums are on there, and all it is scripture in song. And it's amazing how almost brings tears to my eyes thinking about, my kids singing Don't Be Anxious, the song that I posted on the page a few days ago. So when that is ingrained in you, it just is second nature. And so song is a great way to get those verses to stick in your head, and then when you need them most, they surface. Okay, number 3, we'll talk about prayer and meditation a little bit later. Number 3 is to breathe. Just take a few seconds and breathe. Catherine Lee teaches in The Power of 3. I know I read a great article one time on people that weren't able to get to sleep. And if you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7, and then exhale for 8. It's amazing how your body just changes and you relax, and then you can tackle what you need to do or fall asleep or relax or whatever. Also, exercising. We know that both breathing deep and exercising can decrease the acidity in your body. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Number 4 is eating right, and we've talked about that in the last few weeks, decreasing our sugar. Yeah, give me some thumbs up for that, right? And then being around people that lift you up. That's so important. I'm sure you guys have heard that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And that's something that you really need to take to heart, because we need to be around people, especially when we're going through a trial, that, we want to be around people that lift us up and have that good positive energy. Number 5 is sleep. That is so important, especially when you have a chronic disease or you're fighting cancer or you're undergoing treatment or whatever it is. Sleep is so important, and trying to get 8 hours of sleep a night is imperative, especially if you're trying to heal your body. And then number 6 is ask for help. And that one is hard for a lot of people, but we get a helper's high as humans when we help people. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but the way that I feel most alive is serving and helping. And so we want to help. We're beings that need that in our lives. So ask people, especially those around you that you love the most, to help you. They will be more than willing to help you. Okay, so my 3 favorite verses to meditate on when I'm going through a trial is 1 Timothy 1:18 and 19. Fight the battle well, holding on to the faith and a good conscience. And I think that is so true, especially when you're fighting cancer or fighting a chronic disease, right? The second one is 1 Peter 1:7. When your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor. And then the last one is Ephesians 6:10. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. So those are 3 verses that I'll write a verse and tape it to my mirror. And that way, every time I walk in the bathroom, I can see that and meditate on it. I also believe in positive affirmations, and so I have affirmation cards taped all the way around my bathroom mirror, and so whenever I'm in there, I can read a card, and that's so powerful. Like, I am gonna beat this. I am strong. I am a child of God. I am, and just telling yourself that over and over and over changes the brain. Okay, so now let's talk about my self-care rituals real quick. This little gem is called a Child Training Bible, and each one of my girls got one of these for Christmas, and so this is only partially finished because it's one of theirs that I just grabbed, but it has all these different topics. So what God says about anger or feeling defeated or fear or impatience or all sorts of different things. And so you can turn to the tab that is about, that talks about feeling defeated. You can see right there what God has to say about all that. And I love that for disciplining purposes, but also for me, I learned so much about who God is through even just highlighting those verses. So I love that. I also do a love language devotion every day. It takes like 30 seconds to read through, and it just really sets my mind right. Most days, not all days, I write in a 5-minute journal. And this little journal it has a weekly challenge, and then it says, I'm grateful for, and it has 3 things. What would make today great? Daily affirmations, I am. And then 3 amazing things that happened today, and how could I have made today even better? So give me some hearts if you think we need more gratitude in the world. So that's good. I also love the devotion, Jesus Calling. I give a lot of cancer patients that I work with this devotion. I read this every single day with my grandma when she was going through cancer, and it's crazy how it feels like they're just written exactly for you. And then of course, I am in the Word every day. I try really hard to do that, and I feel like that just frames your thinking. but it doesn't have to take a long time. There is an awesome app called First 5. It's by Proverbs 31 Ministries, and that little app has a Bible verse of the day and a devotion right on your phone. So I think their motto is receive whispers from God before shouts from the Lord, which I love. So there are so many different apps. There's a Bible app. You can do it. You can have it on your phone. You can listen to it. There are so many different things you can do to flood your mind and flood your body with good things. And that's so important, especially when we're undergoing a trial in our life. So shout out below what your favorite self-care tip is, and talk about the sabotage too. I mean, I know that it's really easy to get sidetracked. So one of the ways that I try not to get sidetracked during the day is I block out that time. I schedule that time just like I schedule anything else during the day. I also have an alarm on my phone that goes off every hour that's on my watch that reminds me to breathe, because so often we can get caught in the hustle and bustle, and everyone needs to take good, deep, cleansing breaths. So those are a few of my tips and tricks for self-care. I would love to hear what your favorite self-care tip is, or what you may implement after this video. So we'll see you next week, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.